Now on News 6, a critical shortage of nurses across the state.
Nurses are basically the backbone of healthcare.
The new solutions coming to Central Florida. Plus, can Universal compete with Disney?
It's a wonderful thing to have this creative tension.
We're taking a look at how each stack up before Epic Universe is opening and the technology being used to track newborns. This is News 6 Mornings.
Hey, good morning on your Thursday. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Mormouth. Trooper Steve is off this week. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos here now, though.
Yes.
With your forecast, we have a big-time fire threat that we've continued to tell a lot of folks about throughout the last couple weeks now. I mean, we've just been so dry and so warm.
Yeah, and we've almost had 2 straight weeks with 0 rain in the rain gauges. So our rain is desperately needed. We will tap into a little more moisture, though, as we head into early next week. But again, that's next week. So with that being said, fire danger, that is unchanged, staying on the high side for another day. Taking a live look outside downtown Orlando, brought to you by Light Orlando, delivering hope together. We're holding at 66 for Orlando, Sanford, Daytona Beach. But look at you guys in Brevard County. That breeze right now coming in off the ocean is actually keeping your temperatures right now in those low 70s. Now, with the mention of not only our fire danger, but the constant pop-up fires that we've been getting almost every afternoon, air quality is starting to catch up to us just a little bit, just some of that particular little particles in the air. So if you're extra sensitive with asthma or other respiratory issues, just do be aware that this could be causing a little bit of an issue today. I do expect most of our air quality kind of mix in and kind of mix out as the breeze kicks in throughout the afternoon. Speaking of the breeze right now, we are seeing that wind kicking up right now between 15 to 20 miles per hour. It's that ocean breeze that is going to continue to, keep our fire danger on the higher side, but also keeping temperatures a touch cooler along the coastline. So fire danger, again, medium to high throughout the day again this afternoon. We'll have more details, though, on when we can finally see some rain and how much rain we could get out of it coming up in just a little bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Krista Moyer. She's got your News 6 traffic update.
Yeah, it's out there on I-75 in Sumter County, heading northbound just north of the Turnpike. 2 right lanes blocked right now, slowing traffic down for miles due to a crash involving injuries. You're moving around 30 miles per hour. As promised, here are your drive times. If you're heading northbound along the 75 between the Turnpike and State Road 40 in Ocala, 49 minutes. We're almost approaching an hour here to get over towards Ocala. So take an alternate route if you can. Wake up with plenty of time to head out the door. We're also following another wreck, this one in Lake County, a crash with injuries along US 27 and Independence Boulevard, blocking at least 1 lane. No major delays there. Justin?
Our days of hot and dry weather once again helping to fuel new brush fires in Central Florida. Some of the worst conditions have been in southern Brevard County. Look how close this was to some homes. Multiple fires breaking out in Palm Bay alone. One of them, again, forcing families to evacuate their homes. News 6's Mark Lehman. They're live for us this morning. And Mark, the good news is those homes are now out of danger.
Yeah, crews were able to get things under control, but there were definitely some tense moments as the fire spread quickly through that dried out brush. Now, we're at the location of one of the fires near I-95 and Malabar Road. You can see some smoke kind of lingering in the air. Also some burnt out, charred trees, palmettos, and there's also plenty of fuel for this fire to burn. Lots of dried out palmetto leaves. This is making things just very difficult for firefighters as they're trying to get things under control and make sure fires like this are put out. And unfortunately, crews were able to get a handle on that fire and the others across Palm Bay. After keeping homes from damage, officials ended a precautionary evacuation for the area. And out here live this morning, however, there's still a lot of concerns about fires sparking back up as the temps warm up. Conditions are still extremely dry for this area, and because of that, a burn ban remains in place for Brevard County. For now, reporting live in Palm Bay, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Thanks, Mark. And Brevard County is not alone in this. Another brush fire yesterday in East Orange County got dangerously close to the post office near the Waterford Lakes Shopping Center. The good news, it's now 100% contained. More and more local counties, meantime, they're taking action to try and prevent any new fires from breaking out. We're working on that story for the bottom of the hour.
Right now, live pictures from Vatican City where the body of Pope Francis is lying in state in St. Peter's Basilica. This is where the Pope will stay until his funeral on Saturday. The Vatican says nearly 20,000 mourners paid their respects Wednesday, causing officials to extend public hours well into the night. Italy's prime minister among the tens of thousands to walk past the Pope's wooden coffin, crowds, including many Americans, filing in well past midnight. Around 170 dignitaries and heads of state, including President Trump, expected to attend the Pope's funeral on Saturday, which Vatican officials say will mostly take place outside in St. Peter's Square.
Right now, police in Ocoee are asking for your help to try and find a 15-year-old who now hasn't been seen in nearly 2 days. Clara Charles was last seen Tuesday at Ocoee High School. Investigators say she never got on the bus after school. She has black and red braids. She was wearing blue jeans and had a spray ground book bag at the time. If you have any information about where Clara could be, you are urged to call Ocoee Police. It's now up to a judge to decide if some key evidence against the man accused of killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto will be allowed at his upcoming trial.
Lawyers for Stephen Stearns were back in court for another hearing yesterday, and they claim investigators improperly seized Stearns' cell phone. And they argue the incriminating evidence authorities say they found on that phone should be inadmissible at trial. Stearns himself took the stand to testify.
And what was your understanding, if any, as to what they were going to do with it?
They were just going to check my Google Maps and check to see if I was logged into Google, and that was it.
But prosecutors say an audio recording confirms Stearns voluntarily handed over his phone to detectives and gave them permission to examine everything. Maybe several weeks before the judge issues a ruling. Stearns' first trial on sex abuse charges currently set to start in July, with his murder case to follow later this year.
Hey, Candace. Same old. Dry, hot, not good.
And I would like to say rinse and repeat, but there's nothing to rinse it with.
There's no rinsing.
Yeah, that's the only problem. But we are going to add some rain into the mix, though, as we head into early next week. So hopefully, everybody, we can continue to keep the rain dance going, because here in Central Florida, we desperately need it, just like we desperately need our nurses. All right, let's look at those temperatures out the door. We're in those mid to upper 60s. A few 70s still sprinkled in across Central Florida right now. In Leesburg, it's another start in the 70s for you guys. We also have Bike Fest going on this weekend as well in Leesburg. So there's a lot to do, and the weather will be cooperating for most outdoor activities. The only problem is that we need the rain, and that we're not going to see until early next week. Now, temperatures along our coastline, same story, low 70s in Brevard, mid 60s in Volusia and Flagler County. Your bus stop forecast is going to continue to heat up. By about 3 o'clock, we'll be in those mid 80s. So if kids are heading to the bus stop after school, dismissal, walking home, after school activities, games, practices, whatnot, the weather is going to cooperate for those outdoor activities, just making sure that everyone's staying hydrated. Now look at your rain chances. 0 across the board for today. It's just too dry to even produce any rain, even though we get the sea breeze interaction. And because of that low chance for rain, burn bans remain in place for almost all of Central Florida. We'll have more details on the timing of that rain coming up in just a little bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Crystal Moyer. She is certainly getting busy this morning on those roads.
Oh yeah, the mess continues in Sumter County along I-75 northbound, just north of the Turnpike. 2 right lanes blocked after a crash involving injuries out there. So just make sure you allow plenty of time this morning as you're heading throughout that area. Injuries are involved. As you can see, traffic is backed up for miles, almost down to the Turnpike. So if you need to use I-75 northbound, you want to head out the door as soon as possible, because this is the mess you will get stuck in. The time is now 6:11 on your Thursday. Coming up, it's a battle of the theme parks.
Yeah, Epic Universe officially opens in less than a month now. But what does that mean for Central Florida's other attractions? I'll show you what the experts think could happen.
But first, several states now banding together to sue President Trump. What they want to see happen following a series of controversial tariffs.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Orlando Health.
The I-4 food tour is cruising in an RV from Giant Recreation World.
You ever taste something so good that makes you mad? There's so many flavors in that. This pork is super tender and spicy.
I'm hitting up our local restaurants, trying out their signature dishes, so maybe you can figure out where to eat this weekend. Come on, photographer, I know you're liking that. It's the I-4 food tour.
Sponsored by Giant Recreation World.
2 teens swept out to sea on their paddleboard. How they were rescued by a citizen Navy. Next Inside Edition.
Tonight at 7:30 on News 6.
The battle for Orlando's vacation dollar is about to get a lot more competitive. Epic Universe officially opens in less than a month now, turning Universal into a 3-park destination, a move that is no doubt ramping up the theme park war with its crosstown rival. Yeah, we're the real winner in that. And Richard Lewin, he's right there. He's an international business professor at Rollins College, and he told me the real war surrounds intellectual property, or IP. Just look what Harry Potter has meant for Universal since 2010. It's now adding Nintendo, How to Train Your Dragon to its growing IP portfolio. Very key for making the theme parks obviously more attractive, but also building additional theme parks based on that theming. But I will say, according to Mr. Lewin there, a rising tide lifts all boats. And he expects Disney to also profit off of the opening of Epic Universe.
Why not? You're already here. Right. You've traveled. They're in close proximity.
You're telling me you're not going to take a flight to Universal and not hop over 15 minutes to Disney?
Like, you're going to do
I'm just saying, you better bring the money too.
Well, that's I don't know how folks do it. From like out of state,
it's impressive.
And you're here for like a week or 2 weeks sometimes. I don't know how they do it.
You know what? These kids here in Central Florida are so stinking spoiled.
We take it for granted. We take it for granted that we can just go to Disney Springs and get our experience.
Goes exercising sometimes.
I do go to Universal and Islands, and I power walk.
It's great people watching. All right, let's talk about that battle, that creative tension. Ding, ding, ding. I got my graphic ready for you.
Yeah.
I prepped ahead of time. All right, temperatures this afternoon, no matter what park you're going to. Don't forget, we also got SeaWorld, we've got Legoland, we've got Busch Gardens, all within Central Florida kind of parameters here. I can't add them all to the graphic, but you get the gist, right? So let's talk about that theme park forecast for today. We're going to be back up to about 88 degrees, so making sure you're finding ways of staying cool. The shade, making sure you're picking those queue lines that are outdoors earlier in the morning. Now, later on in the summer, you'll have to do those outdoor stuff earlier in the day because we tend to have more rain. We do not have any rain in the forecast, though, at least throughout the rest of the week and most of your weekend. So this is what we are tracking. A lot more heat, a lot more dry weather in the forecast. Rain chance still at 0% today, tomorrow, and into Saturday as well. That is going to continue to worsen our drought and our fire conditions for another couple of days. The good news is we could finally start to add a little more rain to our rain gauges. Not a whole lot, not enough to put a big dent into our drought, but at this point, we just need consistency. Rain a couple of times a week certainly will be helpful, and it looks like we'll be tapping into maybe even a little wetter pattern into the start of May. Now, looking at those temperatures out the door, we are in those 60s and 70s, but now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for your Thursday.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
So in and around those theme parks, again, we're going to be in the upper 80s, but across our far western zones, closing in on near 90 in Ocala and Wildwood. But notice the temperature difference, though. For beachgoers, that ocean breeze will be keeping you about 10 degrees cooler than your friends further inland. But no matter where you are in Central Florida, we have a fire risk. It is just a little extra elevated inland because of how hot it is going to be. Now let's talk moisture tracker. The rain has been staying just to our north for quite some time, but it looks like we will be tapping into added moisture. This isn't rainfall, but just moisture content back into the air. Then we get the sea breeze going. It's been going every day lately, but we just don't have any rain to produce the sea breeze showers. With that could all change as we head into Monday and Tuesday. So now the next question is will all that moisture actually accumulate into something? As of now, some models are picking up between about 1/4 of an inch to maybe 1/2 of an inch of rain between Monday and Tuesday. So fingers crossed, that would be extremely beneficial this time of the year. But in the meantime, though, before we get any rain, we're going to be talking heat, highs surpassing that 90-degree mark on Sunday. Now let's check on those roadways. They are getting busy this morning with Crystal Moyer.
Oh yeah, if you're traveling in Sumter County near Wildwood, get ready to wait in some traffic along I-75 northbound because 2 right lanes are blocked. Here's a live look with the DOT cameras. It looks like they are trying to get folks into that center lane moving around, but injuries are involved in this wreck, so they're trying to get it cleaned up as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it will affect your commute. 29 minutes along I-75 between the Turnpike and State Road 40. And don't forget, we're still following this wreck in Lake County, a crash with injuries on US 27 and Independence Boulevard. The Orlando Magic come up short in Game 2 against the Boston Celtics.
At the bottom of the hour, we'll show you the highlights as the team now heads back home for Game 3.
But first, it's a career that's in urgent need of employees. We're talking air traffic controllers, the local program allowing students to go from the classroom straight to the runway.
Your beach and boating forecast is sponsored by ArmorView Window and Door. Get the latest news, weather, entertainment, sports, and more from the new 6 Plus streaming app. Download today. Breaking news, traffic. When you need to know what's going on in your neighborhood, trust Sky 6 to get the bigger picture. Exclusively sponsored by attorney Dan Newland.
A groundbreaking program at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University is fast-tracking students to air traffic control towers. The program comes as the nation faces a critical shortage of air traffic controllers. Students are getting hands-on experience in the university's ATC labs. It's pretty cool. The new program called Enhanced Air Traffic Collegiate Training lets graduates bypass the FAA Academy and other requirements, which could take years before they got hired. News 6 spoke with the first 4 students getting ready to graduate.
That's where I find the fun in it, and that's where the challenge is, and I think that's what appeals to a lot of people is the creative problem solving and the that it's never going to be the same.
The university expects to graduate up to 120 students annually from this program.
Now to a recall alert. Honda is recalling more than 150,000 Acura SUVs. The company says a fault in the tailgate lid could cause the exterior and interior lights to fail. The recall includes the Acura MDX model years 2014 through 2020. Dealers will fix the problem free of charge. Breathing new life into a historic local theater.
Still ahead, what Winter Garden now has planned months after one decades-old landmark was forced to close its doors. Plus,
I was on the roof with the hose, so the police officer said, hey, just be ready with the hose.
People forced to take action after flames from a brush fire creep dangerously close to homes in Palm Bay. What crews are saying this morning after battling multiple fires.
As a trooper, I know how every crash is going to affect your commute. So watch me on News 6 Mornings.
Live with ClickOrlando.com. You're watching News 6 Mornings.
Time now is 6:30. Let's get a check of our top stories. Crews in Palm Bay watching for flare-ups after battling multiple brush fires in the city. One of them forcing the evacuations of some homes yesterday as a precaution. And with no rain in sight, the fire danger is staying high.
New this morning, deputies in Volusia County are looking for a felon on the run. They say Cody Henderson is wanted out of multiple counties in Georgia, but got away after taking off from a traffic stop and then abandoning his truck in Daytona Beach.
And leaders in Winter Garden are set to talk tonight about a plan to revive the Garden Theater. It was a mainstay in the city for years, but suddenly shut down last year because of money problems.
Let's turn back to the weather now. If you like it sunny and hot, that's what you're going to get today. And Candace is going to talk a little bit about this, but look at this view.
Yeah, gorgeous shot over Port Canaveral right now. Let's get a check of your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. It's been so dry, Candace. I think the trees are bribing the dogs lately.
They're thirsty.
I know, it's been so bad. And if you notice either in that live camera, there's a little bit of a haze. Not dense, but just enough because our air quality right now is kind of on the moderate side because we are still seeing some of that lingering smoke from some of the Brevard County fires we dealt with yesterday. So once again, fire danger remains high, and it will remain high until we finally either get a lot more moisture in our air or finally some rain in our rain gauges. Right now, temperatures out the door on this Thursday. It's certainly a mild start. We're all in the 60s now, officially inland, low 70s along our coastline as well. Looking at the bus stop forecast, 86. That is going to be our temperature by about 3 p.m. for dismissal, after school activities, practices, games, whatnot. Everything's looking good weather-wise. Now, the temperature outlook, we're going to continue to trend warmer than average. But notice, I just want to show you here the rainfall. We've had 4 days. Count them, just 4 days where we actually saw some sort of measurable rain. We've had almost 2 weeks with no rain whatsoever. The good news is we are trending upwards as we head into early next week. We'll have more on that coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Crystal Moyer. She's got your News 6 traffic.
We are seeing some improvement out in Sumter County along I-75. A crash with injuries now pushed to the shoulder just north of the turnpike. So traffic is starting to recover. Unfortunately, it will take some time. So here's a live look with the DOT cameras, you can see traffic starting to move. Still some flashing lights off to the right-hand shoulder. As far as your drive times go, if you're traveling along I-75 between Turnpike and State Road 40, allow 24 minutes. Justin.
Well, most of Central Florida is under a high brush fire threat because of the persisting hot and dry conditions that we've been telling you about. And we have seen sparks flying in southern Brevard County with not one, not two, but 3 brush fires just yesterday alone, really close to some homes. News 6's Mark Lehman live in Palm Bay this morning. And Mark, these fires forced several evacuations.
Yeah, some people were forced from their homes because the flames were just too close. They also spread very quickly. That's exactly what happened where we're at near I-95 and Malabar Road. There's charred palm trees and palmetto bushes, and there's still fuel out here as well. Take a look at these palm fronds right here. You can hear just how dry they are, and it's because of these conditions there are fears a fire could spark up again. And take a look out here live this morning near Malabar Road. You can see just how much land was charred out from this fire. Lots of smoke just lingering in the air as well. We saw some flames earlier this morning. It's because of these conditions, a burn ban remains in place for Brevard County. Now, as for that fire involving the police cruiser, at this point, it's not clear how the fire started. Palm Bay police did, however, say that one of their officers was slightly injured while trying to put out the flames. For now, reporting live in Palm Bay, Mark Lehman, News 6.
And Mark, with the weather staying dry, almost all of Central Florida is now under a mandatory burn ban. Flagler County became the latest to issue a ban yesterday, officially making things like fireworks and yard burning off limits. Emergency workers are urging people to also clear away anything around your home that could easily catch fire.
New this morning, deputies are asking for help to get results and find a wanted fugitive from Georgia who is now on the run in Volusia County. Deputies say they tried to stop 39-year-old Cody Henderson earlier this week after spotting his truck in Daytona Beach, but he took off from a traffic stop, then ditched his truck on the beach.
Hey, did you see anybody run from this truck? You went up that way?
Deputies did a search but could not find him. They say Henderson is wanted on several charges, including making terroristic threats. They also say he's known to carry a gun. If you see him or have any information, call 911.
Happening today, a future business plan on the table for a historic theater in Winter Garden. The Garden Theater was forced to close months ago because of money problems, but now leaders are coming together to find its new purpose. News 6's Angie Casada joins us live. And Angie, you spoke to locals who say this theater is a staple in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Many tell me that this community theater right in the heart of Winter Garden was once bustling with action. Now the city's plan to revive the Garden Theater is hitting home for 2 sisters who seen it all. Now, the theater closed last fall after the group running it said they could no longer keep up rising costs. Well, Winter Garden owns it, and city leaders have a new vision. The plan would be to shift it to concerts, tie-in events, and limited rentals, with parks and rec programs getting first dibs. Now, for the Segalini sisters and so many others, the return of the spotlight can't come soon enough.
They had like the Milk Money movies growing up, so they would like play the old kids movies. We would come during the summer, and we did see a couple of plays here.
That would be awesome. I think like it's great to keep it alive. It's a really big part of, I think, the old original downtown Winter Garden. It's changed a lot, but it's a really special place.
It truly is. And listen, city leaders are staying quiet until their meeting later today, but the proposed business plan is already stirring up hope for a comeback. Of course, we'll post those details on clickorlando.com as soon as they're available. Angie Casada, News 6.
Angie, thank you. The Orlando Magic coming up short against the Boston Celtics in Game 2 of the NBA playoffs. The Magic hung in there all night. They played with high energy. They were physical, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. They didn't have enough shots. News 6 Sports Director Jamie Say has a recap from Boston and what we can look forward to when the Magic come home for Game 3. Kia Center is going to be rocking.
Yes,
it's going to be rocking. And it makes a big difference when you're sleeping in your own bed, too. All right.
That's
Chief
true.
Meteorologist Candace Campos joins us now. The Magic are going to be coming home, Candace, and they may see a tumbleweed or two as they
Oh my God,
pull
it's
into
been so
MCO.
dry. You're such an exaggerator.
Tumbleweed.
Oh, it's been so dry.
I see where he was going with
Maybe
that.
a palm frond, that's the tumbleweed.
Oh, dried palm fronds, which, by the way, those sable palms that Mark Lehman's been showing you how crispy it is, those sable palms tend to actually, they have actually very flammable leaves. People don't know that. It's covered in oil. So, unfortunately, we have conditions prime for more brush fires out there. So, just making sure that you're taking the precautions, no outdoor burning, don't throw the cigarette butts out the window. You shouldn't do that any time of the year either, or even parking or idling your car on dry grass, because conditions, again, are primed to easily spark those fires. Temperatures out the door right now. Other than that, though, it's going to be a comfortable day. It's comfortably warm. Right now, we're in those 60s inland, low 70s along our coastline in Brevard County at 71 degrees in Cape Canaveral. But we still have this big ridge of high pressure, and that's keeping the jet stream and all the activity to our north. This time of the year, the moisture we get comes from the north. So until we actually get systems back here into central Florida, we're going to stay mostly dry. But with that dry weather also comes some hot weather. Highs as we head into your weekend into those low 90s, but then we could be turning a wetter corner. We'll have more details on what we can expect rain chance-wise next week coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Krista Moyer. She's got your news.
We're not going to check
in
those.
About 10 minutes. I'll have an update for you.
It's 6:41 now. A Central Florida family welcomes a new baby and gets a modern upgrade to a timeless tradition.
Coming up, how a local hospital is taking a simple footprint to potentially help in a future emergency.
First, though, after a deadly shooting on campus, FSU students marched to the Capitol with a message for lawmakers. The action they're demanding next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole. Get the latest news, weather, and more from the News 6 Plus streaming app. Visit the Roku App Store to download the News 6 Plus app today.
Over 100 Florida State students marched from campus to the state capitol, calling on lawmakers to strengthen gun laws. The walk yesterday follows last week's deadly shooting on campus and ended with a rally urging lawmakers to act in the final weeks of session, just as they did after the mass shooting at Stoneman Douglas High in Parkland, where 17 people were killed.
After Parkland happened, the people in my community got together and said that this can never happen again. But it keeps happening.
With just days left, no major gun legislation either way is expected to pass. Meanwhile, lawmakers held a moment of silence in the wake of the FSU shooting. During yesterday's legislative session, 2 people were killed and several others were hurt last Thursday when a gunman opened fire on campus. The suspected shooter, 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, remains in the hospital.
And as session winds down, the Florida House passed a bill geared towards making condo living more affordable. Many condo owners, of course, have been buried by steep hikes and fees since a new law passed after the condo collapse in Surfside. Supporters say this could help owners on fixed incomes stay in their homes. But Governor DeSantis has criticized the House version, saying it sides too much with developers.
While it was well intended, it has created these consequences. So you have seniors on fixed income in relatively modest condos, and they're supposed to cough up $100,000 all of a sudden. So there needs to be a reform, and I called for this to be done in January, and the Speaker of the House refused to act on it. The House has not advanced anything meaningful as of now.
A competing Senate bill has the governor's backing, and now Senate lawmakers have just days to decide which one will make it to his desk. Well, a baby's footprint is usually a sweet keepsake, right? But now it's also a powerful tool thanks to new technology. One
Central Florida hospital is using a digital system that not only helps parents preserve memories, but also protects their children in a potential emergency. News 6 anchor Bridget Ellison shows us this different type of digital footprint.
Oh, baby, so sweet. So sweet.
And those are little tiny footprints.
Yes.
Teeny tiny.
Really cute.
Put it on a necklace. I don't know.
I don't know. I think so many people, Candace, as we transition to weather now, have been wondering, when is the last time we actually got some rain? It's been a while since we've had measurable rain. We've had a sprinkle, but it's
like a tease.
Yeah.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
1/100th of an inch.
Goodness.
In Orlando, technically. And some areas have seen even less than that. For instance, Daytona Beach right now they're seeing their second driest April on record. So let's take it to the calendar, shall we? Looking back, we've had 4 days where we've had rain. I mean, if you want to call 1/100th of an inch rain. The last time we actually had a decent shot of, dry season kind of rain was back on April 1st. I don't know if you remember that, but it will be a solid 2 weeks with 0 rain in those rain gauges. And it looks like by Sunday, Monday, as we kind of wrap up the month of April. We might kind of bookend the month with rain. The 1st of April and the end of April. So this is what to expect over the next couple of days. For the rest of the week, it's going to stay hot. We're going to crank up those temperatures a little further. So highs today, upper 80s. By Sunday, that looks to be the hottest day of the week. 92 could be our high in Orlando. Stay in those low 90s inland, but it's still going to be dry until about late Sunday. We're looking at more of a Monday play, possibly even lingering to Tuesday, where we could have a little bit of shower activity. Rain chances do go up to about a 20 to 30%. Now, some models are picking up that we could get as much as about a quarter to maybe half of an inch of rain by Monday and Tuesday. At that point, a half of an inch of rain, when you saw that calendar, that might be more rain we've seen all month long coming in a day or so. So fingers crossed that we can get some of that measurable rain. And of course, as long as it doesn't come in a severe way, which that looks to be good to go as we head into early next week, I think we'll be in a better shape than what we currently are seeing right now. Temperatures out the door. We are in those 60s and 70s on this Thursday. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for this afternoon. We are going to be climbing back into those upper 80s, up to about 88 degrees, still tons of sunshine. We'll have just enough of a breeze kicking up off the ocean that could cap your highs along the coast near 80, so we'll be a touch cooler. That ocean breeze is also going to be keeping the coastline under a medium risk for fire danger. But yesterday you were also in a medium risk in Brevard County. We saw several of those fires pop up, but then a high fire danger elsewhere across Central Florida. Moral of the story, though, making sure you're kind of remembering those fire safety, no camping, no outdoor fires, whatnot. Looking here at clouds and rain forecast, this is the culprit for the possible addition of rainfall to wrap up the month of April. Rain chances will start tracking in Sunday into Monday. As of now, looks like moisture levels will start to creep back up a little bit into next week. But again, as of now, our best shot for rain, which has been the best shot we've had in 2 weeks, about 20 to 30% on Monday. As we get results here with your full 7-day forecast, notice Sunday, though, it will be a hot one at 92. Now let's check on those roadways with Krista Moyer. She's got your News 6 traffic update.
Here's an update on that crash we've been telling you about in Sumter County along I-75 northbound, north of the Turnpike. That crash has been pushed off to the right-hand shoulder. So traffic is starting to recover, which is some good news, but we are still seeing delays throughout the area. So here's a look at your drive times. If you're traveling along I-75 between the Turnpike and State Road 40, 22 minutes, and you'll be tapping your brakes just a little bit in Lake County with a crash with injuries along US 27 and Independence Boulevard.
Well, again, that hot and dry weather causing more brush fires in Central Florida, where some of the worst conditions are. Next, as we check our big stories.
News 6 Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos.
Grab your friends, your family, and of course, your fur babies. Join News 6 in Harbor House for the Pause for Peace Walk and 5K Saturday, April 26th over at Harbor Park. Come have some fun and support domestic violence survivors and their pets. For more information, head to clickorlando.com.
6:54, let's get a check of our big stories, starting with Mark Lehman live in Palm Bay.
Firefighters are watching for flare-ups this morning after several fires broke out in the city yesterday. One of them actually started after a police car caught fire, forcing crews to evacuate some homes as a precaution. Other fires burned right along I-95 in the area known as the compound. All of them are now contained. The problem, though, is it remains bone dry, and because of those conditions, the fire threat will remain high for at least the next several days. Crystal?
Mark, deputies in Volusia County are trying to find a man wanted out of multiple counties in Georgia. They say this man, Cody Henderson, took off from a traffic stop before abandoning his car on the beach. He has been known to carry a gun.
Live pictures from Vatican City now, where the body of Pope Francis is lying in state. The Vatican says more than 50,000 people had paid their respects in the first 12 hours of his public viewing, prompting them to extend those hours. Angie.
Justin, leaders in Winter Garden are set to talk tonight about plans to revive the historic Garden Theater. It was a fixture in the city for decades, but shut down last year because of money problems. The city has a new plan, which could include a mix of programs along with the opportunity for rentals. City leaders didn't want to reveal too many other details about the plan until tonight's meeting, and that begins at 6:30.
And temperatures out the door right now. Beautiful live look right now from Cape Canaveral. Right now we're in those low 70s. We do have a little bit of a breeze in place. Now the rest of Central Florida, this is a mild start. You do not need the rain gear. You do need to make sure your sprinklers are up to date and they're on schedule, right? Temperatures this afternoon back into the upper 80s, tons of sunshine, maybe a touch cooler along our coastline, but we could finally start to see some rain working back into the forecast, especially early next week with rain coverage up to about a 30%. But in the meantime, it is going to be a hot weekend ahead with highs in the low 90s on Sunday.
Well, I don't have any pretty cameras, Candace. I just have traffic. And this is along I-75 after a crash just blocked lanes. It's been pushed off to the right-hand shoulder just north of the turnpike. Heading northbound, just allow some extra time as you're traveling towards Marion County.
Thanks for joining us this morning. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories and our News 6 Plus app for your TV.
Another hour of news and weather coming up next on News 6 Plus. We'll see you then.
It's all in the Plus. Download the News 6 Plus streaming app on your smart TV or streaming device to start watching today.